Hey fishy friends, I'm back with another video of the 33 long. I did some tank maintenance tonight, and actually I did a couple things that I haven't done in quite a long time. First off, if you guys are ever wondering why whenever I do videos, a lot of the time the tank is all kind of cloudy, it's because it's right after I did a water change. Because a lot of the time I like to do videos after everyone's gone to bed. And usually the only time I can really do that is like late at night. And by late at night, the only time it can be really late at night is like on the weekend, because that's when I don't work. So just to clear that up, not that anyone has asked, but also I kind of like the look of the tank. How it's kind of hazy looking afterwards, so I think it's kind of cool. So I actually got in here today and I cleaned up a bit of the substrate, well, as much as I can for that time period anyways. There's just so much debris in here everywhere. I use an electric gravel vac, so after, I don't know, about 5 minutes of using it, it kind of just kicks shit up everywhere in the tank. So you really can't really see anything after that, so you kind of have to just give up. But I mean, it's a start because I haven't gravel vac this tank in quite a long time. Just because it's such a pain in the ass to do it. And I actually check out this filter here. It's not anything that's a big deal, but I actually cleaned this filter. Besides this little part, must be some water mineral deposits or something. So I haven't cleaned the filters in quite a long time. I know I probably shouldn't go off and do that, but I have to be more diligent about it. Let's see, there's a big difference between this and this. So I figure maybe once I have to get back on a water change regimen. I used to do it every other week, every couple weeks, whatever you'd like to call it. At least that used to be how I used to do it. That's how I should do it from now on, and that's what I'm going to try to stick to. I don't always have the time, or should I say maybe the motivation. Excuse me. So I think I kind of decided lately I'm going to kind of give up on possibly getting a new tank anytime soon. Just because, you know, this tank is working for me. If it's not, you know, if it's not broken, why fix it? So, plus I don't really want to have to go through all the trouble of getting a new tank stand, getting a new tank, getting a new light, you know, all that bullshit. Like I said, once again, if it's not broken, don't fix it. I would like to make some changes to this tank though. Some more plants, maybe a little bit more rescaping. I definitely need to like kind of fill in here because this whole area is kind of just like dead. You know, maybe I should put some of the Crypt Molense from here over here on this side, or some more Crypt Winty. I kind of hate these little crypts here. They don't really do shit. This is Crypt Lucans, whatever it's called, I believe. It's never really grown. I've had it in here for two years and it hasn't really ever done anything. If you look at the Crypt Winty, obviously it's done something. It's grown. So, yeah. For the most part, my tank is mostly just crypts, as you can tell, because they grow easily for me. Speaking of crypts, look at this. Look at this here. Ridiculous. I actually stopped by one of my favorite LFS today. There's 3 LFS that I actually frequent. This is the one that's kind of closer to me. The other 2 that I go to are kind of within the same area, but they're a bit more of a drive. It's the next county over. This one is actually kind of like 10 minutes away. It was interesting. Haven't been there in a while. They had some pretty cool looking glow light tetras. I would still possibly like to add them. I'm not sure. What I'm kind of leaning more towards now is adding just another school of white clouds, but the regular white clouds to kind of give it a little bit of contrast. I don't know how well they're doing here though, considering you know, you're supposed to have more of a darker substrate with them to bring out their colors more. These gold white clouds have always done fine here though, because you know, you can see they're pretty colorful. The LFS had some bloodfin tetras. They had some green fire tetras, which I don't think I've hardly ever seen in stores before. Yeah, they had glow light tetras. They had a few neon tetras. Whatever tetras I add though, if I do go that route, which I think the only thing that really appeals to me really is the glow light tetras, considering I had them in this tank before and I really liked the way they looked. I'm gonna have to do something with cherries, which I'm not sure what that is yet. Like I said, I've considered getting a little 10-gallon tank and adding it down here. I'd have to clean up all this crap, obviously, but or I thought about seeing if I could just take all the cherries up to the LFS that has the glow lights and you know, kind of give them to them for store credit. Come back with a bunch of glow light tetras. That seems like a cool idea too. The only thing I don't like about that is obviously first I'd have to give away my cherries, but second, so at the LFS that I was looking at, they're ridiculously expensive. I think it's like 3 for $9 or 3 for $12 or something like that. Ridiculous. So if you got like 6 glow light tetras, it would be like $20. I can go on Aquahuna's website. Granted, they're not available right now, but when they're available, I could get like 10 to 12 of them. They come either a 12 pack, I think, or a 15 pack or something like that. They're sold that many at a time. I could get them for like $30. That's a much better deal, and they'll ship them right to you. Granted, you don't get to see what you get, but that's a way better deal. I don't like to kind of, you know, screw around and buy like 6 fish at a time. I like to buy them all at once and kind of get it over with. I had another thought of trying to like turn this into a community style tank and get rid of the cherries and have the gold white clouds, the standard white clouds, and then maybe a small school of glow light tetras. That might look pretty cool. The problem is if I do that, this tank is going to be pretty well stocked, like really stocked. And there's just not that much room in here for that. So I was thinking about in the future though, I would love to get another 55-gallon tank at some point. Not like anytime soon. See, the good thing about if I got a 55-gallon tank is I wouldn't really have to do much. I basically just have to get the tank and kind of swap it out, and, you know, reset up the tank as a 55, and that's about it. Because I already have the stand and I already have the light. I might have to get like some new filters or something, but that's probably about it. So I thought about that for future endeavors. I did used to have a 55-gallon tank a long time ago when I lived at my dad's, or say my parents' house, my dad's, or whatever. It was a really cool tank. I loved it. The only thing is now, the only one I know now is the 33 long is so much better for doing maintenance and growing plants. And honestly, like aesthetic wise, there's something that's unique about looking at this tank when you're sitting back on it, because it's in my living room. You can see it's in my living room. So if you kind of sit back on your chair and look at it, it looks awesome. There's not really much dead space. I mean, there's some over here, but it's minimal compared to how much like dead space you would have like in a 55 gallon. That's one thing I really like about it. It's not really difficult to get the plants to grow, to the top and take up the space. Don't get me wrong though, a 55 gallon tank is really cool. I mean, if I didn't have this tank, that's probably the next tank I would probably prefer. Either that or a 40 long. But going from this tank to like a 40 long or something like that doesn't really make much sense to me. It's less than 10 gallons difference and like only 4 inches taller. So that seems kind of senseless. Yeah, they have the current Petco sale right now. We can get all the cool tanks. Yeah, one of the reasons why, like I said, I decided to stick with this tank for a while, roll with it. Like I said, if it's not broken, don't fix it. This tank works perfectly for the amount of time I have, and everything I'm trying to do, everything I want to accomplish, so, yeah, that's why I don't really want to change it. I need to add a black background on here. Some more plants, figure out the livestock, and then I think it should be good for a while. Just do the maintenance on it, keep up on it. I was looking at a new Phoenix Stingray light fixture. They have the Phoenix Stingray 2, I believe. Mine is like the original one. I don't really need a new light, I don't think, even though I've had this one for like 3 years. But that one's cool because it's newer and it's got moonlights on it. But I don't think you really want to spend $70 just to buy moonlights. If I could find something where I could just maybe set separate moonlights on here, I'm sure it'd probably be much cheaper, but I'm not really sure how to go about that. Threw several algae wafers in here earlier, so the snails and the shrimp and the fish are kind of going nuts, as you can tell. Man, the video on this looks good. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think I've rambled on long enough. I guess I'll just give a few views of some of the fish and some of the livestock. I just shut my mouth.